out. I was one of the first persons to come out and say, yes, it is me. So I accepted my mistake. Yes, it's me. You know, the mistake I did was to have a sex tape, which I regret till tomorrow. And another thing is the fact that, you know, not just really having a sex tape, living an immoral life. Because as a man of God, even though I'm not married and the lady is not married, I'm not supposed to engage in fornication. So it is true that it was me, and I accepted it from day one. As truthful, as sincere, and as candid as I can be. What is not true is all the rest of the allegation. That I did a lot, and I don't want to go into that because I respect her, you know, and I don't have any issue with her by God's grace.
Apostle Chris Omatshola of the ZionWealth Church, popularly known as the Lekki pastor, was in 2018 involved in a sex tape scandal. He made it public that he was the one in the video which went viral at the time, and everybody was surprised. Many people were surprised because they thought a pastor should not be involved in such acts. However, a year afterwards, the pastor has come out to say that, look, I did some of those things that you said I did, and I am a better person now. LGTV caught up with him recently and decided to talk to him about how he overcame the situation and how he's a better person today. My name is Damilare Okunla, and you're watching Legit TV. Big shout out to Emmanuel Sodi, the man behind the camera, for bringing in this publication.
Actually, at first, you know, they were hurting, you know. I was distorted and deserted, you know. I felt like my world has ended, you know. I felt like there was nothing to live for, basically, you know. So all of that got to me negatively, you know. And at a point in time, I looked around me and there was no hope. I never saw a future for Chris Omatshola after then. That felt like the end of the world to me, you know. Prior to this scandal, you know, I've never had a scandal before, you know, so I've been going through a lot in life. You know, 2018 was, should I say bad year? But quite an unfortunate year, you know, that I do not wish to repeat itself in my life again. You know, so I'm a businessman as well as a pastor, and so I had some business deals that pulled out negatively, you know, so I was indebted, you know, here and there, and my debtors were after me, and all of that was happening the same time. That was sometimes around May, June, July 2018, you know. After which, all of a sudden, sex tape issue came up, you know. That day, you know, I started getting calls from everywhere, and I was wondering what could be happening. And only for me to hear that, you know. So you know how it felt, you know, as a pastor, a known pastor, you know, not just a picture, not just any other, a tip, you know. That was quite huge for me. That was massive, you know, and it really got to me negatively. But thank God, it's history today.
Right. I'd like to ask, out of curiosity, some of those allegations, I know, well, there are chances that you may not have done those things. There are chances also that you may have done some of those things. Could you tell us some of those allegations leveled against you at the time?
Yeah. 90% of the allegations leveled against me were false. They were fallacious, they were malicious, and they were all channeled, targeted at me, you know, just to bring me down and get me to the worst place in life and expose me to public hatred and cyber bully, you know, which their intentions were fully and maximally achieved. Right. The obvious of them all is I was the one in the sex tape. Okay, you know, even when suggestions were coming up and down, you know, that, I mean, Apostle, you can deny it, The person there doesn't really look like you. But I grew up with a principled father, and one thing my father taught me, my biological father, he always said, Chris, honesty is the biggest currency. I thought denying it, yes. If I deny it, I will avoid the shame, at least it will reduce my pain and I will find some succor, in that. But the words of my father always ring in my head that no matter what, even if saying the truth means you getting more ridicule and getting more pain, but you shall say the truth, and the truth shall set you what? Free. So the Bible says you shall know the truth. So what is the use of knowing the truth without saying the truth?
So how did your congregation feel about some of these? I know you said it was a down period, but I mean, you had a congregation, you had people.
Now let me tell you about that, In my ministry, in our church in Lekki, when it happened, I got to learn about it on a Sunday morning. So, I was ministering that Sunday, and I could feel a disconnect from my congregation that something is wrong. I think the thing happened on Saturday night. So on Sunday morning while I was ministering, I could just feel something is not adding up, from the congregational response. So after the service, I couldn't wait to close the service. So after the service, my associate pastor, Pastor Peter, rushed down. I was like, Apostle, look at what's happening. I said, waiting happened. He said, this is what happened. I said, did anybody die? What's happening? He said, and he said, the test tape, blah, blah, with ash. Right there and there. So there was division in my congregation. A lot of people lost trust and confidence. My integrity was compromised. They started seeing me differently. But thanks be to God, who always causes us to triumph at all times and in all things. Because right now, as we talk, the story has changed.
How exactly did you pull through?
First and foremost, I was depressed, and getting to read all of those allegations on the internet, really brokened me. So I was in my place of brokenness. I was in the dungeon of depression. I was being beaten regularly by my thoughts. How on earth will you allow this to happen to you? I didn't blame anybody for anything. I accept the blame. It's my fault. Do you understand? Because if I did not engage, so let's not go there. It's my fault, So my only consolidation, my only happiness, source of happiness, my joy was the work of the ministry. So when this happened, I couldn't just take it, because ministry, ZionWealth, is all I have. It's my life. It's my passion. It's my calling, So all the toys and here and there with my businesses, didn't really get so much of me. Because when I go to church on Sunday, my ministry is going well. At least I'm doing what God has called me to do on earth. But when this happened, my ministry, I lost my members, I lost everybody, so that was a bad news for anybody. Okay, so I became so depressed, and I couldn't, I was struggling with the fact that I could face life again. I could stand and preach again. With all of those allegations, not just a picture, a tape. What do you want to tell people? But that was when God was working on me. God started working on me, and God said, today is your mess, but inside your mess, you are not perfect. Inside your rubbish, inside this mess you found yourself, because of the mercy of God, I will bring out a message. So I became very suicidal, and if not because of people like the Apostle Johnson Suleiman, Prophet Jeremiah Omoto Fofin, the chairman of P1 groups, Mark Austin, Owumere, Pazino, Patrick Agba, those were the people that stood by me when a lot of friends rejected me. They were like, Apostle, this is not the end of the road. There will be light at the end of the tunnel. So, and I want to pass this message across to everyone. 11th of November this year made it 1 year I would have been dead. On the 11th of November 2018, I almost took my life. I had the substance I was supposed to take. I was crying. I couldn't just, take the fact that this is happening to me and I'm not waking out of it like it's a dream. I couldn't just take the fact. I should just come to terms with the fact that this is actually not some nightmare. It's real. Man, it's real. So I held the substance and I was just saying, God, have mercy on me, but I have to end it here. And all of a sudden, that was around 1 a.m. in the middle of the night. And all of a sudden, I slept off. And while I was sleeping, I had various private encounter, of God telling me that this is not the end of your life. I'm going to showcase you to the world. It might look like you're in a mess situation now, but I'm bringing you out. And you know what? A few months after, God brought me out of all of it. And now my testimony that in all of this, we are more than conquerors through Christ that strengthens us.
Are you married, or are you planning to get married soon? Because one of those things people say is probably if you were married, it probably would have you'd have avoided some of these.
I'm planning to get married anytime soon. I'm not married. I've never been married, and the lady in question is not married as well. She has never been married. We're in a relationship that was leading to marriage. But so now I'm planning to get married. So I'm believing God for that, because marriage is not something you just rush into out of pressure or peer pressure, societal pressure, and all of that. So with God helping me and with God's grace, that area of my life will be perfected in Jesus' name.
There's something that became a trend yesterday, today. It's also about a sex tape, as it were. Yeah, it's about students actually. It's not about a man of God now, but it's because we're discussing something related to sex tape that I want to talk about it. Now, why do people do such sex tapes and post them on social media? Because this one, someone said he was dead, and then he posted the video of he and a lady having sex in one of the Nigerian universities. So the video has gone viral. Everybody has been watching it. They know the lady, they know the guy in question. They've been talking about the both of them. So, but what do you have to say about people posting such things on the social media?
I can't advise on posting, but I can advise on, sex tape issue, how to manage it, if it comes across your way. You asked me a question, a very good question. Why do you think people do sex tape in the first place? I can't speak for anybody, but I can speak for myself, because mine had my consent and consent. I agree. In most cases, she was, doing the video, and in some cases, I was. So I think it's stupidity. Number one, it's a wrong spirit. That's number two. Number three, I feel everybody, it's wrong. There's everything wrong with having a sex tape. There's everything wrong with having a sex tape.
Even if you're married.
Even if you're married, just because of security reasons, to avoid, they say prevention is better than cure, just to avoid the scandal that may come with it. I will advise married couples not to even engage or toy that part. But for singles, it's fornication, of course, and we know fornication is not of God. It's a sin. Look at me today. That situation that almost made me wanted to take my life has expired forever. I've conquered it. As a matter of fact, my ministry globally is more prosperous than it used to be. So you can see, if I were to be told that, Chris, you will come out of this and be, then I was so down and depressed that, the other person was going everywhere on the internet. It took 1 year for me to come out, face a camera and talk about this. If it's not because, if I'm not an apostle, if I'm not a pastor, okay, it wouldn't go that bad. So I was the person in the middle of all of this. So I was so consumed. I hated myself. But when it got to a point, I now learned that I have to forgive myself first to protect myself, then forgive others. So no matter what you're going through, it's going to expire someday. It's going to expire someday. So aspire to get to the best of the tunnel, to get to the end of the tunnel, so your situation will expire. So you aspire to get to the end of the tunnel because you are sure that at the end of the tunnel there is light. So that situation is not your final destination. A bend is not an end. It's not the end of your life. God has greater things and better things for you. God bless you.